Hello everyone! It's almost Lunar New Year, and today I'm gonna be teaching you how to make a traditional treat, and it's the turnip cake. It's a really delicious recipe, and yeah, let's get started. So these are the ingredients for our turnip cake. Of course, we're gonna need turnip, some shrimp, which is gonna be soaked in water, warm water, sugar. This is sugar. Some corn flour, cornstarch, wheat starch, rice flour, sesame, dried scallops, cooking oil, water, and some meat in the cake. So the quantities will be in the description box. Dried scallops, you're going to soak it for some time and then steam it for 1 hour with some ginger. So for half of the turnip, you're gonna get some really thin slices, and for half of them, make them really thick, like these. You can see that. And here are the pork or meat, and you're gonna dice them into really small bits. Some dried onions as well, and these are for our next step. Also remember to peel off the skins of the turnip before you cut them into. So in the wok here, I poured some cooking oil and the dried onions. I'm gonna fry until it smells good, and then add the pork a little at a time, the pork and the meat. Don't pour away the water. Don't pour away the water. Don't pour away the water. And now I'm gonna add some wine and the dried scallops as well, because wine will evaporate eventually, so it's still okay for kids. I'm gonna pour everything in a dish for later, and we're going to cook the turnip. We're going to cook the thicker one first. These are the thicker ones. So cover it with a lid here, and do not add any salt or any seasoning to it. And one important thing is to cook it with the medium fire. And now in the big bowl, I added all the flour, all the dry ingredients. So there's cornstarch, corn flour, and all that stuff. Now I'm gonna mix the flour together and also pour in some water. This is the water that soaked the shrimp as well. And some extra water. Don't pour away the water. And here I've also added the thinner turnips now, and gonna fry it a little. And now I'm gonna pour in this through the strainer so it'll strain through any lumps. Like that. Maybe scrape down the sides for all the stuff. After the turnip is softer, we're going to add the sugar in. Now we're going to prepare our pans, and I'm going to use the sesame oil. And brush it around here and around the side, so it will be easier for us to get the turnip cake out. So this is ready. Like, I got the sesame oil on, and the reason why we need to use sesame oil, like for my own preference, I like sesame oil more because it smells better. But if you don't like sesame oil, you can just use cooking oil. So for my seasoning, I've added 4 tablespoons of oyster sauce, some salt and pepper. And one important thing, when you add the seasoning in, the fire has to be turned off. And remember to cut off the fire. And remember to cut off the fire. Now we're also going to add the pork that we've cooked earlier. Add the mixture of the dry ingredients and water to the wok and the turnip and mix it like that. A little tip is to add the mixture a little by little so it'll be easier when you mix it in. After you mix it in, it should look something like this. You can see that. And the last step, and also the most important step, is to pour it into the pan. We can smooth out the surface a little bit, like it will look better. And just smooth it out like that. So then tap it a little bit. So the air bubbles will be popped out like that and smooth out the top. We're going to steam it for 1 hour. So now I'm gonna sprinkle some sesame onto our turnip cakes and make it like all the way around the cake. You must sprinkle the sesame on top of the turnip cakes before they get cold or else they won't stick.